What's up, guys? We're back, and today with list segmentation, which is a thing that a lot of people don't know enough about. They know it's kind of important, but they don't know the real purpose of it, and they don't know how this is going to help them scale their email revenue and scale their business. So, we'll be going over that specifically today. So, what is segmentation? Just so this gets clear for everyone, and why segmentation is so important, the types of segments that you can create, and most important, the segments you really need for yourself and for your business. So let's get started. Here you have some links to my socials and to our website if you want our help with your emails. But let's go. What is segmentation? Segmentation is the process of dividing or filtering your list. So we're filtering or dividing your list into groups or segments based on different criteria. So for example, age, gender, location, interests, email engagement, or website behavior. So I like to think of a segment as a list on steroids. So a list is a selected group of people, once again, based on a criteria, but is a one-time process. So you just run that criteria across your main list and you select those people, you filter them, and you create a list. So it's a one-time process because your list will stay the same forever. On the other hand, segment is a group of people in constant validation to fit that criteria that you selected. So is the difference between having a definitive label and a dynamic label, because there's people who will enter that segment and the criteria might change for them and they will be excluded in the future. For example, age or your email engagement. You might be engaging with our emails at the moment, but you might not engage in the future. So you will be added or excluded considering your behavior. So why is this so important? The most simple way to put it is you'll get more sales, you'll be able to generate better content, you'll have less work, and we're going to be over that, and you'll get more organization across your email marketing as a whole. In a more specific and in a more technical way, the point here, one of the big ones, is really deliverability. So why is segmentation so important for deliverability? If you want to check it out, I have a complete YouTube video just on deliverability if this is an issue for yourself, or if you're not even sure if this is an issue for you or not, but I'm going to give you the 80-20 of it. So if you don't have segmentation in place, you'll get worse email performance overall. So you'll get lower clicks and lower opens. And this will mean that you'll get a bad sender reputation. Once you get a bad sender reputation, you will be flagged by Google. And once you're flagged by Google, you will end up in spam. Once you get in spam, obviously less people will get your emails on their main inbox. And obviously you'll get lower opens and lower clicks. So this is a cycle, a closed cycle and a vicious cycle, and you'll get worse and worse for yourself, okay? So the point here with our segmentation is to avoid you blasting your entire list. So if you're blasting your entire list, please stop it. The only exception is Black Friday or a major event you might have throughout the year, but this is assuming that you have a clean list. So if you don't have a clean list, if you don't clean your email list, please don't do this, okay? And we're going to be over the process of cleaning your list as well, so stay tuned. And second, what we want with our segmentation is for you to only send to people who read your emails already. And I know this is stupidly simple, but people are not doing this already. So as we saw here, this cycle, if you want to stay away from this or break it, if you are on it already, what you want to do is this here. Just send to people who open your emails and read it already. And once again, we'll be going over that as well. So besides here our deliverability, we also want our segmentation because of conversions. So why is it so important for conversions as well? The fact that you have the segmentation in place will allow you to grab the right people, feed them the right content or the right offer, and do it at the right time, okay? So the point here for conversions is really the fact that you have the opportunity to personalize. So you can send, for example, send product related content based on the customer's interests. So you can create your campaigns based on your customer's profile or the stage of the sales cycle they're in. Now we have all the segments that you can create. So engagement segments, this will be a segment based on email interactions, so opens, clicks, marked as spam. We also have the website activity segmentation, so this will be based on actions taken on the website, people who view the product, added to cart, purchased a certain amount of times. Then we also have geographic segmentation based on location. This might be useful for you or not. And finally, we also have analytical segmentation, so based on metrics and on customers' history. So the lifetime value of the customer or their average order value. And now the most important of them all, the segments you really need for your business. So please do this as soon as you can. Don't just see this video and do nothing about it. Implement these. So for starters, 30 to 120 days engaged segment. So the engaged segment is very important because will be your campaign's default audience throughout the year, throughout the months. So considering that you might use other audiences, for example, some sales that you might do across the year, this engaged segment will be the baseline of your campaigns, okay? So for example, if we're considering the 30-day engaged, we're talking about people who opened or clicked an email in the last 30 days. And if you're thinking, how can people click an email if they didn't open it? What we're doing here is just a double check. So in case for some reason Klaviyo didn't catch the open or of the email, we're also doing a double check and saying we're also including people that clicked the email. So that is all we're doing here. So we want to start by using the 30-day engaged people, so people who engaged in the last 30 days, until we get about 50% open rate. So once you're a 50% open rate, you know that your deliverability is good and that you're pushing out good content. So once you reach this, you can expand to the 60-day engaged people. So people who engaged in the last 60 days, and this will obviously expand your addressable audience. Once you reach again 50% open rates with the 60-day engaged people, you can then expand again to the 90-day and then to the 120-day. And once again, what we're doing here is sending to people who read our emails. This is just for us to boost our deliverability. And in terms of definition, you can see here how we can set up this on Klaviyo. So if someone can or cannot receive marketing, can receive email marketing because person subscribed, and what someone has done, open an email at least once in the last 30 days, or what someone has done, click the email at least once in the last 30 days. Now we already covered engaged segments, so now we're going to unengaged segments. The unengaged segments will do you well for suppressing profiles or for you to create re-engagement campaigns. So if we're considering X number of days unengaged, this will mean people who opened or clicked email 0 times in the last X number of days. So this is the complete opposite of what we covered before. Here we want to do this in specific, this kind of segments for suppressing profiles. So if you want to clean your list and save on your Klaviyo bill, what you want to do is grab a segment like 120-day unengaged and suppress the profiles. Here our reasoning has to be like backwards if you compare it to the engaged segment. So here, if you want to suppress the profiles of these segments, you have to consider that we're covering the last 120 days. And you might think, well, I'm suppressing more profiles than I would if I would be considering just the last 30 days. But that might not be correct, okay? What we're doing here, you have to reason backwards, okay? So we're considering the last 120 days, and what we're doing here is kind of just giving a larger time frame for people to engage. So there might be people who, for example, didn't engage in the past and now are engaging again, and we're not including these people. And other than suppressing profiles, you can also, as I said, do re-engagement campaigns. And the point with these re-engagement campaigns is for us to expand our engaged segments. So we want to do this once or twice a month. And here you would have to create specific segments for these campaigns. So for example, you should be considering unengaged 90 but engaged 120. And this means open or clicked email 0 times in the last 90 days and open or clicked email at least once in the last 120 days. So you see what we're doing here? So we're considering people who engaged in the last 120, so last 4 months, but didn't engage in the last 3. So this is people who engaged in the first month of those 4 months. If you get results with this, you can do the same that we mentioned before. So you can expand from 120 to 150 and from 150 to 180. You can still keep the unengaged 90 and you just change your engaged. Now, customer win-back segment. And these are not ordered by magnitude of importance, but in a way that I think it's more easy to understand. So, customer win-back segment. We're supposed to send a campaign for this segment just once a month. So this would mean people who have bought in the past but have not bought recently. So this is just the definition, but if you have any doubts, you might as well just come here and think about how it would look like on Klaviyo. So this would mean people who are subscribed and placed an order at least once in the last 120 days and placed order 0 times in the last. And in this case, besides this segment that you will have for your campaigns, you should also have a customer win-back flow that is firing automatically every time someone goes to a certain time without buying, okay? Because you're doing this segment and this segment is always changing the profiles inside it, but you're not controlling every time someone joins, and you would not be just sending an email to one person. So the purpose of the segment is for you to send an email to the whole segment. And here the flow is just for you to, for example, check on the client as soon as they go through 90 days without buying. So this is supposed to be firing automatically, and this is why it's so important for you to have the flow as well. Then we have the abandoner segment, okay? And we can send to those once or twice a month. And this is people who have high likelihood of buying and we want them to pull the trigger. So we might just send them, for example, specific content or an exclusive sale. So this would include people who are subscribed and placed order 0 times in the last 30 days and active on site at least once in the last 30 days. And once again, just to double check if Klaviyo wouldn't fail us to track all the activity on site, we can add all these ors just to double check and double check and double check. So, or view the product at least once in the last 30 days, or added to cart at least once in the last 30 days, or started checkout at least once in the last 30 days. Then we have the VIP segment. So this segment is obviously for your VIP customers and you want to send them once a month. And all these campaigns that I'm mentioning, all these frequencies that I'm mentioning are extra to your regular campaigns that you're going to send throughout the month. So for these, you can send them exclusive content, early access deals, VIP sales, and this would include people who are subscribed and placed order a certain amount of times overall time. So you would have to define how much would be the minimum amount of placed orders for them to qualify to be a VIP customer. And once again, you should also have a VIP flow to automatically thank your customers once they join. Now the suppress segment. Just so we're clear, what we covered before is the unengaged segment that you might consider to suppress the profiles, but here is the clear definition that we want to use to suppress the profiles to clean our list and save money on our Klaviyo bill. And here is where we're going to save a lot of time, for example, because we're creating the segment once and we're going to suppress the profiles inside the segment monthly. So here we want to select people who open email 0 times in the last 180 days, or bounce email at least once overall time, or marked email as spam at least once overall time. And as you can see here, you can just go to your lists and segments. Please don't consider this. And you want to select your segments, you click here and you suppress the current members. So you want to do this once a month, but you just have to create the segment once. And as usual, before you leave, if you want to add 50k to 250k to your MRR in the next 60 days, I would like to offer you a free audit of your Klaviyo account. I have a video here explaining everything. And worst case scenario, you'll live with a complete roadmap for your team to execute on and get the same results by yourself. So no strings attached whatsoever. So feel free to book a call with us. And other than that, I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time.